edition of Channel 12 News for teachers, we have a special interview episode for you, our viewing audience, over our teaching philosophies. We have a few teachers here giving their views on teaching in the classroom and what helps their students learn best. First, we have Kaylee here to tell us more about teaching philosophy. Please tell us your stance on teaching.
Thanks, Lizzie. Great to be here. My stance on teaching is that it's just a scientific method. Behaviors can be learned and should be learned before you enter the classroom, and then used as an implement towards your classroom activities.
But the classroom is an unpredictable place. How do you handle situations?
You learn how to cope with situations through observation and experience.
Interesting philosophy. Thank you for taking the time to be here today.
My pleasure.
Next we have joining us is Brittany to share her philosophies with you, our viewing audience. Hello, Brittany.
Hi, Lizzie.
So tell us about your philosophy when it comes to teaching.
Well, everyone has a different style of teaching. My own personal philosophy is that you can never really know exactly what to expect until you get into the classroom. Teaching is an art and a gift, not something you can just pick up in a classroom by studying books. It is important to learn what you are going to be teaching. For instance, if you're going to be teaching history, you should probably know why 1776 mattered. But teaching is just going to come naturally.
So you're saying that you just have to have a knack for teaching?
Exactly.
Interesting. Thank you for being here today. It was great to have you on the show. Last but certainly not least, we have Kenna here today to tell us about her approach on the classroom.
Hello, Lizzie. Thank you for having me on the show.
Love having you here. So Kenna, tell us about your approach to the classroom.
Well, as Brittany was saying, there's an art to teaching. You cannot simply know what to do in every situation simply by learning it in a book. Those who argue that teaching is an art point to the characteristic of flexibility as the primary quality that good teachers must possess but is not easily taught. In contrast, other scholars contend that there is a scientific basis for teaching that can be learned. But on the other hand, I agree with Kaylee, saying that she believes that she can learn from techniques and from data. Research on teaching and learning provides a systematic, objective basis for making instructional decisions, but it cannot specify how to handle every classroom situation. Many classrooms' decisions must be made on the spot. This contrast represents the science and the art of teaching. I believe that good teaching is partly an art and partly a science. Good teachers are artistic scholars who know how to strike a balance between the art and science of teaching.
So if you had to define your teaching style, what would you call it and how would you describe it?
I would call it reflective teaching. And what reflective teaching is a process where teachers think over their teaching practices, analyzing how something was taught and how the practice might be improved or changed for better learning outcomes. So it's a process where teachers pay attention to their students and how they are responding to the information they are presenting. A way of teaching that blends artistic and scientific elements through thoughtful analysis of a classroom activity.
Sounds like you know what you're doing, but how do you apply this to the classroom?
Well, as I was saying, teachers have an enormous influence on a student's success in school. Those teachers who bring a scholarly mindset to their work learn from the effects of their teaching and, as a consequence, foster great student success. I encourage feedback from students, having colleagues observe and critique your teaching, using observation checklists, and implementing more formal lesson study procedures all provide rich sources of data for improving your practice. I also use guided reflection procedures, or better yet, engaging in systematic and rigorous self-assessment in a reflective journal can provide not only insight, but also documentation of improvement. I keep track of their improvement and analyze it to see, okay, what isn't working and what can I change to help my students? Creating a personal portfolio of your successes and failures in accomplishing teaching goals can be a useful supplement to reflective journal.
Wonderful. So for any teachers out there wondering what they can do in order to become a reflective teacher, what would you tell them?
Simple. Here are a few helpful hints I have for becoming a reflective teacher. Number 1, understand your reasons for teaching. Identifying those who influenced you to become a teacher is a fundamental exercise in continued excellence. Almost everyone can name 2 or 3 teachers who changed the course of his or her life by discussion and defining the qualities of those exemplary teachers when they were students. Professionals begin to define the roots of their own teaching. Number 2, cultivate ethical behavior in your students and yourself. Although many schools of discipline exist, a teacher can achieve harmony in the classroom, but the real focus of student management lies in instilling ethical behavior. Number 3, pool both patience and perseverance. Stamina and endurance are needed for the long haul of teaching. This means finding ways to remain healthy and able-minded through the stressful days. Number 4, design curriculum that works. All good teaching requires excellent design and redesign, beginning with a strong curriculum that outlines the most essential ideas. 5, perfect instructional practices and assessment skills. The ongoing development of instructional methods and feedback skills are critical to excellence in teaching. Only through the careful examination of activities and assessment can a teacher guide all students to succeed. And number 6, connect positively to the whole school nature. The master teacher has the capacity to improve the whole school culture through excellence in teaching. The teacher is able to fundamentally influence others without generating resentment. The teacher is consistently working to benefit the school.
Wonderful. It looks like we're running out of time for today. I'd like to thank all 3 of our guests for being here today. Join us next time on Channel 12 for Teachers, where we talk about school lunches and whether pizza is a major food group. Until next time, stay classy, Wayne State.
It's, oh my gosh. Take 2.
Used and implement your. Oh my god. What is that word? Implement, right?
So
It's gonna be bad. Okay. You did that in great time. 4:20.
4:20?
That's what time it is right now. I don't know.
Action.
Okay, sorry.
Ready?
Yes.
You like a little action.
Tonight.
Is that all we want to do?
I think so.
Do that again?
Nailed it.